just remember, you lot asked for this. Hey guys, JamesMCD Reviews here, and yes, it is finally October, and you know what that means. This year, if you're not wearing a Mortal Kombat costume, a doctor's outfit, or a superhero costume that has a mask, your ass is staying inside and you're getting no candy. Now for the past couple of years, I've wanted to do a weekly series during Halloween where I look at older classic horror movies, and every year something gets in the way or I just get really lazy and I end up not doing it. Well, all that changes this year. Every Friday in the lead up to Halloween, I'm gonna be doing a new Halloween related video. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. So one of the first videos I did for this channel back in 2018 was a retrospective looking back at all the classic Halloween movies. It was a lot of fun talking about one of the most influential horror films in history, as well as the arbitrary string of sequels that range from decent to meh to weird to fucking unwatchable. But because I was pressed for time, there were a few movies in that series that I had skipped over, and we're gonna cover them here today. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the Halloween leftovers. So in my original video when I was talking about Halloween 6 and how unbelievably incoherent it was, I briefly mentioned the existence of a producer's cut. This cut is infamous among the Halloween fandom as it has many variations from the theatrical cut, as well as a completely different ending. When this version of the film was shown at test screenings, it received negative reception from the audience, which prompted the studio to reshoot several parts of the movie, including the ending. Unfortunately, they weren't able to bring Donald Pleasence back for the reshoots because he had passed away after production had originally finished. And thus, in 1995, we were given the new theatrical version of Halloween 6, while the producer's cut was locked away in the Disney vault and wasn't given a proper physical release until 2014. I recently rewatched the theatrical cut before the producer's cut just so I could easily compare the two, and while the theatrical cut isn't as terrible as I remember it, the producer's cut is still the better movie. Just in how it's edited, the producer's cut is superior. It's really crisp and clean and has nice cuts, unlike the theatrical version, which looks like they were playing Fruit Ninja with the raw film. Yeah, remember this from the opening? Yeah, that shit is gone in the producer's cut, and it immediately makes the film more watchable. The story is relatively the same across both versions. Michael Myers is trying to hunt down and murder the last remaining member of his bloodline, so his curse will be lifted and passed on to someone else, I guess. Though to be fair, they do explain it much better in this, which, speaking of, is another thing the producer's cut does better: explaining plot holes. Remember how in part 4 and part 5, how Dr. Loomis still had the scars from the fire he set off in part 2? Only to have them disappear in part 6, and then they just never acknowledge this? Well, in this version, they explain that Loomis got plastic surgery after he retired from being a doctor. We're also shown a flashback recapping the end of part 5, showing that Jamie Lloyd was kidnapped, which is how she ends up in this weird Illuminati dungeon. We're also given an explanation on where this baby that they're trying to protect came from, but you probably won't like the answer.
Please don't hurt me.
Let me just remind you guys that Jamie is supposed to be Michael's niece in this series. This film flat out states that Michael Myers raped his teenage niece and is now out to murder her and her baby. Yeah, despite all the nice things I've said about this film, it is still, at its core, Halloween 6, and it still has a ton of problems. The story bounces back and forth between not making sense and just being weird. The kills in this version aren't as graphic or cool, the characters are pretty forgettable, and Michael Myers' screen time is slashed in half. Granted, this makes way for more Dr. Loomis, but still, I wish they could have found a middle ground like in the other movies. Ultimately, both versions are a complete muddled mess. While the theatrical cut is a lot more over the top and entertainingly bad, the producer's cut is slightly more coherent and better looking. So which one you watch ultimately depends on what you're looking for. Do you want to see Michael Myers murder people in hilariously over-the-top fashion? Watch the theatrical cut. Do you want a halfway decent yet still pretty weird horror film? Watch the producer's cut. Although to be fair, I don't know why you'd bother with either version because this movie wiped all the other sequels out from the canon. Produced by Malika Akkad and Jason Blum, written by Danny McBride and Jeff Fradley, and directed by David Gordon Green, Halloween 2018 was a true return to form for the Halloween series. Rather than trying to salvage the series' previous outings, or God forbid pick up where Rob Zombie left off, this film goes the H2O route and wipes the slate clean, acting as a direct sequel to the original film set 40 years later. Jamie Lee Curtis returns as Laurie Strode and is still traumatized after the events of the original. She's a recluse, she drinks a lot, she's paranoid. And that paranoia has caused her to have a rocky relationship with her family, specifically her daughter Karen and her granddaughter Allison. She spent her entire life prepping them for the day that Michael Myers inevitably returns, but Karen believes that day won't ever come. Well, she's about to be proven wrong, as on the way to a new facility, Michael Myers escapes and returns to wreak havoc on Haddonfield. I loved the hell out of this movie when it first came out, and after watching it again, still really holds up. It really is a love letter to the original Halloween. It has great tension, a lot of slow moments, the music is really good, the cinematography is excellent, there's so many strategic long takes, and they look so fucking good. The story is also kept very simple, just like in the original. No Thorn cult, no brother-sister reveals, no passing of the torch. It's just Michael escapes and goes after Laurie and her family. Laurie fights back. But the story is written remarkably well because it shows the trauma that Laurie's experienced and how that's left her really messed up. And it shows her as a character who, despite evolving from the Scream Queen that was in the original into honestly quite a badass, is not a flawless character. But she's working to overcome those flaws so that she can protect her family. And Jamie Lee Curtis acts the hell out of this role. You can probably guess that she is the best part of this movie. But she's not the only one who's evolved. Michael Myers is a lot more ruthless in this film. Not in the same way he is in Rob Zombie's version, where he's just a gorilla with a knife. He's still very sneaky and strategic, but he doesn't have a problem murdering people in broad daylight. And these kills range from ripping out someone's teeth, peeling the skin off someone's face and making it into a jack-o'-lantern, stomping someone's head in. There are a lot of brutal, gut-wrenching kills in this film. The film builds to an epic round 2 fight between Laurie and Michael, but unlike the fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon we got in H2O, the scene is really tense and slow. It's well shot and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It doesn't pull any cheap tricks and there aren't a lot of obnoxious jump scares. And the resolution is thoroughly satisfying and acts as a nice bookend, sort of, to the series. Now even though the movie is good, it's not void of a few flaws. It is still a horror movie, so the characters do make some pretty dumb decisions. There are several things that happen that feel like they're just there to be there. The whole plot with the doctor got kind of silly, and the movie tries to insert humor that, while it still got a chuckle out of me, kind of felt a bit forced and unnecessary. But those are very minor flaws. I still think this is one of the best Halloween sequels of them all. And that's it. Those are all the Halloween leftovers. I hope you enjoyed the video. Fine. Let's make this quick. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 was released in 2009, and unlike the first movie, which is pretty much a beat-for-beat remake of the first one, only louder and more obnoxious, this movie tells an original story. I mean, yeah, they do the whole Laurie getting chased through the hospital scene, and they also keep the Laurie is Michael's sister twist, but the rest of the film tells a completely different story. So I can at least commend the movie for not being bound to the original and trying to do something unique. With that said, there is one glaring problem. It's a Rob Zombie Halloween movie. Everything that was terrible about the first film is multiplied by 1,000. The characters are all unlikable, annoying assholes. Laurie is a whiny bitch throughout the whole movie. The editing and cinematography are so bad they make Halloween 6 look like 1917. The story makes no goddamn sense and butchers the character of Michael Myers more than ever. Nothing about it is subtle, atmospheric, scary, or fucking watchable. It is by far the worst Halloween movie ever made. And thank God the series was rebooted before this nutball could ruin Season of the Witch. Okay. Now, those are all the Halloween leftovers. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down in the comments which Halloween movies you've seen, which are your favorites, which are your least favorites, all that stuff. Let me know down in the comments. Look forward to more Halloween related videos coming very soon. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go get out of this suit now. See you later.